Hi everyone, Michelle here from the Creative Cove. Thanks for joining me today. I'm back again with some messy artwork and experimentation. This time using the jelly plate again. So here's my jelly plate, and this is just a store-bought jelly plate from Michael's. It's a 5x7. I just recently uploaded a video on doing some kind of random stenciling. Not stenciling, sorry, stamping, and this is kind of part 2 of that, playing this time with a little bit of paint and some different papers that you might have. So here's some samples of some messy prints. We're going to play with this too. I really like this, kind of like reminds me of an x-ray, which I really like. So we'll play with things like that. Some little cards here. So this is on a regular colored sheet, and these are on coffee dyed, and they're just instant, super fast, easy way to make little mini ephemera and little cards. So really fun. So before I show you all this stuff, let's just start playing, because I do need some things to dry. So I'm going to grab another piece of paper here, and I'm going to use one of these for rolling my paint on, because I also use the one that I roll. I'll use that for art as well. So I'm just using random paints here. This is Burnt Umber by Liquitex. This is Folk Art Pure Black, and then I have a white kicking around here somewhere. Here's my white, which is Artist Loft Titanium White. But again, using any colors you want. Here's my brayer that I love to use. I'm just going to scoop it up, and I'm going to throw it on my jelly plate. And I am just really starting to scratch the surface on these plates. I really have a lot of fun making a mess on these and coming up with some interesting looks. Not all of them are successes. Some of them are more of a, you sure you know what you're doing? And the answer is no. I very rarely know what I'm doing. I meant to grab some index cards. Bear with me a second here. Just gonna see if I can find something really quick. Here we go. So I thought we could do, I'm just pretty much making this up as I go. So this time I'm gonna put this down and maybe print a frame. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just experimenting. So if you're new to jelly plate printing, join me. If you're a pro at it, leave a comment on what I can change and things like that. So here's just basically kind of getting as many colors out of it as I can. And I am just literally layering thin coats. I like to leave the brayer mark in it, and I just kind of build up layers and layers of paint using these 3 colors. So this is just number 1 here. This is idea number 1. So I want these kind of to dry while I'm playing. And like I said, I kind of roll try and get that in frame for you. Roll that off. Try to keep my thing clean. And throw some white on now. Load her up. Let's go back on here. I mean, I can go directly on the paper, but let's stick with the jelly plate. Just get messy. I like to get messy. So I just wanted these to kind of dry, and then we'll come back to them. If you want your papers to line up perfect so the print lays on top of itself perfect, there are techniques to do that with little markers, little tools. There are a lot of jelly printing videos out there on YouTube. I am just playing, so I'm not concerned about things lining up. So this is kind of cute. It's created a little frame. I think I might clean my brayer off on this. Just add another layer. So printmaking has never been my thing, simply because I'm such a messy person. And if you want things neat and not have paint and ink everywhere, you really have to take your time, kind of enjoy doing it, washing things in between. It's just not me. I've never been one for being organized and clean when it comes to my artwork. I feel when I'm messy, I just have less stress, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what it is, and I'll probably never know. All right, so I'm gonna let that one dry. We're gonna do one more. I want to use some black this time, so I'm going to put some white down first, maybe. Let's see. Again, not even. I like to leave those brayer marks for texture. You can scratch things in here. There's techniques too where you can let this paint dry. Yeah, it's really fun to play. And then I wanted to pull this off, so let me get another piece of paper. Pull this off. So I want to get one of those black cards as well as the brown one. So now I have this kind of soft white. And I'm going to put a card down and then put some black paint down. Come on. Be clean my brayer off on this. And then roll up some black. Just kind of go outside the box here. So I kind of have I want black all over the card. And then outside on the jelly plate as well, but not the entire jelly plate. Just want to get some black on there so that we can do a stamp. Oops, we can do stamp after. There we go. So you can see even the palette creates some fun, you know, you just keep playing. Just want to get the paint off. There we go. I'm just going to pull this black off here. So now I got a black card that I wanted. And let's just throw this back on. Create layers. Again, using whatever color palettes you like. So that's kind of fun. Okay, so we'll use that for now. We'll move on to something else while we're waiting for those to dry. And I am going to move this out of the way because I am notorious for dunking my clothes in there. So we'll do some of these now. So this I've talked about in the past, which is labels. So I like to go to a secondhand shop and I'm always picking up whatever they have on sale. So this is a clear shipping label. We'll use one of these. These are kind of fun because they have a bit of a transparency to them. So use one of those. This is the business card in white. I'll pull one out so you can see it clear. We're going to use a coffee dyed one. And again, this is all from the thrift shop. Did not pay $9.99. The other tags are gone. I think I paid $1 for these. This one is large labels. You get the idea. This one is a CD, so this one's $1. These are CD cases. I'm not going to bother doing one of these, but I will show you how I just stamped it. Little labels. Now these ones are glossy, so I'm not sure. I don't think the ink would adhere to these properly. These would have to be either sanded or used for something else. So I was a little disappointed these were glossy. You would probably have to find an ink that could adhere to gloss, which I don't have. Oops. And this is cards. So here's the card folded in half. So these kind of things I find in my thrift shop all the time. I love them. I'm always grabbing them. So let's start with maybe this, which is the clear label. Actually, let's start with the coffee dyed. So what I did was I took a pack of these label card, business card labels, and I threw them in coffee water and they came out like this. So now I'm just going to stamp on them. And what I love is you break them up into individual cards. So you can do a theme, you can do randomness, which is what we're gonna do. I'm going to use my go-to, which is my Cocoa Exclusive Inks water-based dye ink. I love this color. It kind of is vintagey looking to me, so I really like it. And I'm just going to stamp on some of these. So you can focus on it being an individual card, or you can just stamp to your heart's content on the whole page. I'm going to put some of that in there. I'm going to add some of my lettering. This one I got on Amazon. I really love this stamp. I don't have a link for it. I bought it quite a long time ago, but I use it all the time. I pulled the wood backing off because, as you can see, I only like to use parts of the stamp. I'm not worried about what it says. I just want that texture on there. Let's see, what other stamps do I have? So these are my hand carved stamps. So here's a birdie. Let's use the birdie. I have a video on how I carve these stamps. I want to do some more. I ran out of material, so I haven't had the opportunity to carve any more yet. I did show too these how to carve into an eraser. There's a video on how to do that, so if you do run out of material, you can still carve into other things. And maybe one more. Let's try this one. This one I got at a thrift shop, and these will look familiar because I did use them on the last video, but they're just so pretty. They're so delicate and dainty. So just, again, I don't use a stamping block. I like it messy. But if you're more of a controlled person, then use the stamping block and take your time. But if you're like me and just go for it, then you'll probably like this. And I'll do another one here. So then, what I like to do after that, have I got enough? I think I'd like some numbers in here. Here we go. I have this one, which is, again, a secondhand store one. And I think it's supposed to be like a ruler, but it doesn't have a very clear print on it. So I don't always use the whole thing. I just like to make sure I get that the right way. Just kind of put a little bit in there, just for some texture. I like the number showing up, so sometimes I'll just push down what the number is. Again, just for fun. No wrong or right here. Just have fun with it. Maybe a lines here for journaling. If you wanted to just put lines across for somewhere to write something. Or you can use it as part of the design element and just put it in wherever you feel it's gonna look nice. And then I rip them apart. Again, just a lot of fun. I think too, though, we could add one more bold pattern. If you love this one, let's add this one in. Just a little bit bolder. So if I'm looking now, so I printed it all as one page, but now maybe I'm gonna start looking at it as an individual page. So kind of like the look of that one all on its own, but this one, for example, could use something more graphic and bold. So I'm gonna put that in there. And maybe just a little bit in the corner down here. All right, now I'm gonna rip it up. And I love these. They're cheap and super fast and super easy ephemera, using just your ink and your stamps. And again, if you even carve your own, even more unique. You know, nobody's gonna have that carved stamp. All right, and these make great scraps. So now I just fold up the little business cards, and your hands will get dirty. That's when you know you're having fun. And again, I'm just using the one color to stamp on. So you could change all the colors here. And And then you can look at them individually and see, is there anything else you want to add? So they turn out really pretty and really fast. You can also, you know, when you're ready to use them, you can add ink around the edges for a little more drama. And the coffee dyed really lends more interest to it as well. But you can also add ink. You know, you can brush your ink in. Another color, for example, we could do that right now. Let me get my ink pads. So I have some ink here. Let's use the sage. Let's see how that turns out on here. I'm just gonna find my brush. My little squiggly thing. I've got this one. It's not my favorite, but it will do for what we're gonna use. Oh, sorry, this one is called Bundled Sage Distressed Oxide. So you can add colors to match your journals and just store them when you're ready. That's really pretty, just like that. So this one looks a little empty to me. There's no real major focal point in this one, so maybe I'll do something dramatic. So this is one of our little erasers that we carved, and I'll try and remember to link all those. And I'm just gonna put a focal point right in the middle. And now it makes more sense. So I'm just gonna darken the edge on the two ends. Let's use the sage again and smear it out. Ooh, loaded that pretty heavy, but that's okay. Smother the whole thing. Soften it right down. So that was a lot of ink I added there. But still, just a whole other look. So there you go. You can just keep going and keep going. You can write some journaling words in here. I wish I had words stamps. I don't have any. I should probably get some. Or you can actually write a word in here. Stamp a word in there. That would be really nice as well. So there's that idea, using up old labels. I'll add that to the stash. So you can see how quick that would be. Now this one was done with one that was not coffee dyed, and then I just distressed inked over top. So there's another, that's a really pretty stamp too, tulip. So again, just really a lot of fun. Very simple, where you can add now, if you wanted, you could glue a pressed flower on that. But what's nice is these are good sizes to work with and super fast to make. Like how pretty is that one? I love it. So there's that idea. You just bundle that in a little elastic and keep them in your ready to use ephemera pile. Is this dry yet? Let's do this guy next. So I did a brown and a black. I want to show you this technique because I really like it. I prefer it in the black, but I haven't tried it in the brown, so I'm going to try it in the brown with you guys. Let's just put these on. So I'm notorious for letting this dry out. I'm going to have a sip of coffee because it's that time of day. Where I'm like, okay, stay focused, stay focused. So I'm going to grab maybe this guy. These are ones that I've carved myself, so you can tell they've been used a lot. And we're gonna do some printing. So I'm just going to take some white on my brayer here. Now you're not gonna get a perfect print. It's gonna be a little on the slippery side because this is a flat surface. It won't, what's the word I'm looking for? It kind of smears the paint. It's not going to give a full, really pretty print. But what it does is it kind of gives it an old look. I have the stamp got missed there, so let's see if I can line it up again without ruining it. Put a little bit more paint on there. You can't overload too much paint because then it will really be slippery. I think this is going to be really difficult to line up, but I'm going to do my best. There we go. So if you use too much paint, what happens is it will slide. If you use too little paint like I just did, you won't get a nice full image. So if I think of it, I try and wash these. Just give them a quick wipe so that I don't lose all the definition when the paint just kind of builds up over time. Swipe them down. And this was just so much fun to carve. So I'm hoping to get back into that when I get my hands on some more stamps, some more linoleum. Linoleum? Lino. Yeah, linoleum. I did order some from Amazon, so we'll see. I'm gonna get it anytime soon. So this one's turning a bit green because I have a bit of ink on this paper from my last video I just filmed, which is really fun. I just want to clean my brayer off here. Okay, and before that dries, we'll try and get a decent print off that. There we go. And I just love the old look of it. Just having fun. You let yourself just experiment. Just take a no pressure to produce anything specific. You know, I'm not going to sit here and do a journal. I'm just going to sit here and play. So now I am taking this is actually a watercolor brush. It's an expensive watercolor brush, but it's old and it's had its day. And I am just going to wet it a little bit in some of this leftover paint. And then what I like to do is kind of rub some of this paint around the image. There's just something about the look of this. So I love X-rays. Is that weird? I love the look of an X-ray, the transparency of an X-ray, the layering of an X-ray. I'd really like to experiment with this more because this is what it reminds me of. And I really just love playing with it. So what I want to do is just add a little on. So I add a little paint, I rub it on, and then I just take my finger and I move it around. And I leave a little bit of an outline around my stamped image. So again, controlling the amount of water you're using too is nice because it will thin it out. And if you use too much, you can wipe it off. But I really love the way this kind of reminds me of an X-ray, a plant X-ray. Just something really different. And you can just keep playing until you get the full look of what it is you're after. But again, getting my fingers dirty, having some fun. And I like to pop this, and I think they make really pretty, real pretty additions. You can frame and things. So let's try the brown. So with the brown, maybe we'll use the black as an accent. No, I think I'll use the white. Sorry, my water is way over on the other side. Let's use the white. I think it will get too muddy too fast. So I'm just gonna rub this in. And I'm gonna go around the edges, rub it in. Get the corners. And maybe we just do kind of like the one side on this. Make sure I'm in frame here. Just really dirty up the card. And this is just an index card. I got a bunch of them secondhand as well for 50 cents. Maybe a touch of black just to see. Let's see what happens. It's kind of fun. A little more drama, a little contrast. Just really get your hands dirty and have some fun with it. Yeah, I like the contrast. So there we go. Something different. A little black in here maybe. A little gray. So you can just keep playing until you get the result that you like. And maybe you don't like it, but you've learned from it. So there you go. Just another fun way of using your stamps. Throw my brush back in there. So there's that, which I really like. Some different cards, really grungy. They are grungy, so if you don't like grungy, you won't like them. So there's that. Put that with the other collection. And then what was left? Oh yeah, I really want to show you this paper here. So this is just, it's called a clear packaging label. And again, I got them secondhand, a pile of them secondhand. So we're just gonna stamp some things on here. And then I want to show you how pretty it looks when you peel it. So I'm just gonna do a couple of bold stamps. And then we'll circle back around to our paintings that we did before. They should be dry. I'm just going to do, go this way over here. And go kind of half off the page. Just going to put in a little bit of this texture without the full flower in there. All right, that one. What else? What other stamps do I have here? I've got this birdie. Let's use him. Put a couple of birds in there. Just a couple. And then with him, he kind of sits on his own. So this is one I carved as well. So what I like to do with this one is use the branch on this to give him something to perch on. Just find he kind of floats otherwise. So just kind of give him a reference of where he's sitting so he doesn't look quite so random. And then maybe we'll use this one. Sorry about the echo. Again, just adding textures. Don't have to go crazy. But I love the delicateness of this stamp. It's kind of like what we sketch when we do our sketches. Something nice and delicate, simplified. Again, I'm not concerned about the orientation of anything. Just having fun playing with stamps because I don't know what this piece of paper is going to be used for yet. I just know I'm having a fun time making a collection of papers here, using whatever I have for stamps. And as you know, I don't have tons. What else am I writing? Let's use some writing. So this is one of my all-time favorite stamps. When all else fails, I throw this stamp in and I use it different ways. My hands. You know you're having fun when your hands get dirty. Okay, that, and maybe one more thing. What else have we got? Let's find something. I've got this bubbly one still. Use that. It's kind of fun. Got some bubbles in there. Another texture. And anything else? I think that's good. I think it's good like that. Where's that little dot one that I like? It's so small, I always lose it. These tiny little dots. No, I've lost it. Okay, never mind. All right, so this one you can cut up because it's a label. So I want to show you how pretty the label can be. So I'm just gonna cut off a piece here to show you. And then stick it to a coffee dyed sheet that I might have kicking around somewhere. Oh, come on. I swear I had coffee dyed. Oh, here, I've got some. So this is a pad of graph paper that I coffee dyed. So we'll just stick it on here. I can show you how pretty this is. So it's a label, so it's sticky on the other side. You don't have to add glue, and it's transparent. Isn't that fun? So you can, if you were to say stick it to a different color, for example, it changes the complete look of it. So there's a mint green. I'm going to stay neutral here, and I'm going to put it on the paper, and I just think it is so pretty. It shows, so if these were stronger, like if they weren't, if I had used this, maybe let's use this one, then you can, I'll show you how you can see through it, just for fun. So when you're at the thrift shop or at your friend's house and they're saying, oh, I don't use that stuff anymore, take it, because, or buy it from the thrift shop, because you can, the possibilities of recycling these things is so much fun. You know, it's no longer a shipping label, it's something entirely different. So I'm going to put it on this, and you're going to be able to see the graph behind it, which is, just adds another interest. So a lot of fun. I like, again, just using stamps and stuff like that. What else did we have that I wanted to show you? Oh yeah, I want to show you these. That's the other part of the label. So this is just stamping on a piece of that coffee dyed graph paper. So I don't need to show you that, but that's what that is. And I did a kind of like a Japanese or Korean style stamp on there, which I really love. I have no idea what it says. I'm assuming it's Japanese, but I could be very wrong. And just creating papers, so now you can fold these, you can rip them, you can cut them into labels, you can cut them into tags, and just keep a collection handy in a little book, in a little folder. So here's the ones we originally did, and then I just wanted to show you how I just stamped on these, basically with some paint here. So let's use maybe this guy this time, a little bit smaller. And again, it's not going to hold tons of paint. It's not going to be a full stamp. It's going to be a soft stamp, but really fun, I think. Let's try this guy. So I'm going to do black because my paint is still wet. I'm just going to roll it. So this one is very delicate. It doesn't have tons of positive space in the stamp, but it kind of creates this a bit of an eco look, eco dyed look to it, which I really like. Let's see if I can get another one. So again, just using stamps, this time some paint, and then you can go over it even more. Let me get this black paint off and throw a little weight down on my pad. My other frame here, sorry. I like to just kind of create a mess and then just kind of go over it again even more, and then I can stamp it again. And I just keep creating these layers until I get a look or an image I love. And again, it's very messy, especially with the color choices I've picked, but you can come up with some really fun results. So this one I took a pen to after and pulled it out even more, and then drew corners in. But again, it just, the results are endless. You can also use a strong stamp if you don't like the look of the washy paint. You can, of course, go in with, where's my stamp that I just used? Here it is. So if you prefer something a little bolder looking, use ink as opposed to the paint, and then stamp that in, and you'll get a bolder look. So it's looking pretty messy now, but hey, even more fun, because these can be just taken right into, cut into pieces like this, and it's a completely new texture on the surface of another project. So that's using paint and ink, and you get some really fun results. So I hope you like this video. Again, there's a lot to cover, but you can see how fast these projects come together using these materials. papers, labels. The possibilities are so fun, and you can create a lot of ephemera really fast. Create new things using paint, ink, and paper, and I really love these guys here. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you do, hit the like and the subscribe button, and stay tuned for more, because I'm always trying to come up with some new ideas and new possibilities of products. And well, you've seen my channel, I hope, and I hope you enjoy it, but I'm always open for suggestions and any feedback you guys have. I'm just rolling this out just to show you, even when you're cleaning your brayer, you create some really fun stuff. So my advice to you is don't throw anything away and then you'll be a hoarder like me. All right, guys, have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.